We're here this afternoon to announce that yesterday's indictments by a grand jury of 15 individuals involved in a multi-million-dollar retail theft ring is the culmination of a significant investigation in which our Baltimore County Police became the lead investigative agency. And I'm joined by people you're going to hear from. I also want to recognize Lee Petter, who is here representing Councilman Joe Bartenfelder, and that was one of the areas that was involved in connection. The area that Joe represents is one of the areas that was actually involved in this incident. The outstanding work of our county police department, along with support from Scott Schellenberger and his staff in the Baltimore County State's Attorney's Office, and with the Baltimore City Police Department and our partners in the federal government, closes down a massive criminal operation that was preying on businesses and consumers in Baltimore County. In Baltimore County, we understand that public safety is the foundation upon which all else that government does is built. People must be safe in their homes and their neighborhoods, where they work and where they shop. This ongoing organized crime ring used pawn and buy and sell shops to fence the goods that were stolen. This type of criminal activity represents a real threat to businesses and the people who work there. I applaud the men and women of the Baltimore County Police Department who helped bring these criminals to justice. The police response to this criminal conspiracy once again sends a powerful but simple message. Criminals are not welcome in Baltimore County, and crime will not be tolerated here. If you commit a crime in Baltimore County, you will be arrested, you will be prosecuted, and you will go to jail. As we announce these indictments, it highlights how important it is to remain vigilant each and every day in protecting our businesses and our communities from those who would prey upon them. Right now in Annapolis, there are two bills before the General Assembly regarding the regulation of scrap metal. One of those bills would undermine the serious scrap metal legislation already passed by Baltimore County and Baltimore City and replace it with a much weaker state legislation which preempts the already strong regulations now on the books in the city and the county. Passage of that bill would ensure business as usual for those seeking to fence stolen goods. The other bill, introduced by Baltimore City Delegate Brian McHale, is modeled on the city and county legislation and actually allows local jurisdictions to enact even stricter requirements if they so choose. We should all fight for the passage of Delegate McHale's scrap metal legislation to give the people of this state and legitimate businesses the protection they need. This week's indictments show just how important it is that the state legislature enact real scrap metal reform and not simply something that is reform in name only. This week's indictments are a significant achievement for the people of Baltimore County. As I often say, our greatest accomplishments are usually the result of partnership, and this is no exception. I thank the United States Attorney for the District of Maryland, Rod Rosenstein, and all of our federal partners for their outstanding work and cooperation in this case. It is an example of just how effective law enforcement can be when local and federal law enforcement work in concert. I also thank Baltimore County State's Attorney Scott Schellenberger and his entire office for their support in this case, and for all their hard work every day in ensuring that criminals in Baltimore County are taken off the streets. And finally, I thank all the members of our Baltimore County Police Department for their outstanding work in this investigation. This case would not have been broken without their involvement. Now it's my pleasure to introduce an outstanding police officer who has always led by example and who has done a remarkable job in bringing crime in Baltimore County to historic lows. The individual who was in the forefront of this investigation, and that's our own police chief, Jim Johnson. Jim?
Well, thank you, County Executive. Good afternoon. On Thursday, March 25th this year, Baltimore County police investigators, along with federal authorities, executed 32 search and seizure warrants in Baltimore County and throughout the Baltimore County metropolitan area, and made 15 arrests in a major organized retail theft investigation. This investigation was important and very critical because it brought to closure a major organized retail theft ring that frankly plagued our area, our county. After months of law enforcement investigation by the Baltimore County Police Department, it became apparent that this organization crossed numerous jurisdictional boundaries. This caused us to form partnerships in this investigation with numerous other local and federal and state law enforcement agencies. I would like to specifically point out and thank the U.S. Postal Authority that worked with us in a partnership in this investigation. From the very beginning and throughout this matter, the Baltimore County Police Department remained the primary law enforcement agency in this investigation. I would like to acknowledge the outstanding work done by our entire team, particularly my detectives, who devoted hundreds of man-hours to the serious public safety issue that frankly impacts each and every one of us. It is estimated that the organized retail theft cost in this nation alone over $35 billion a year, and as much as $115 billion worldwide. This case not only has local and national implications, it arguably has global implications as well. As a result of this investigation, we seized extremely large quantities of retail products and merchandise. The suspects in this investigation had illegally acquired massive quantities of retail items from numerous local and national retail stores and outlets across our region. It is estimated that this ring had been responsible for more than $20 million in retail theft. It should also be noted that the suspects in this investigation conspired to launder the proceeds from their operation. The indictment in this case seeks forfeiture of all proceeds, assets of businesses, as well as numerous bank accounts associated with this operation. I would like to thank Federal Prosecutor Rod J. Rosenstein and his staff who worked closely with us on every aspect of the investigation. In addition, State's Attorney of Baltimore County, Scott Schellenberger, played a vital role in bringing this case to a successful point. Additional details will emerge in the next several weeks and months ahead as this case moves forward in the federal court system. Thank you. At this time, I would like to call Baltimore County State's Attorney Scott Schellenberger to make a few comments.
Good afternoon. As you can tell, because of the multi-jurisdictional nature of this, most of these defendants will end up in federal court. But I think the important thing that we learned here today is that because we find a ring or an organized organization like this out there committing these crimes, now in Annapolis is not the time to weaken some of our laws. There is an effort afoot to weaken some of the laws dealing with pawn shops and their ability to report. There's also an effort afoot to weaken our scrap metal bills, one of which we have a very good one here in Baltimore County. So I think that this indictment is a perfect example of why Annapolis shouldn't weaken our pawn shop bills and shouldn't take away Baltimore County and Baltimore City's good and strong legislation in the area of scrap metal. Thank you.
And now we're going to hear from Councilman Kamenetz, who represents one of the areas in which this organized ring was operating. Kevin?
Thank you, Mr. Executive. In 1995, I drafted comprehensive legislation that regulated pawn shops in Baltimore County. And if it is true, as alleged, that the pawn shops are involved in the buying and selling of stolen goods, I will consider, in consultation with the administration and with the industry, tightening this loophole to prevent pawn shops from being able to engage in this behavior outside of their existing structure of pawn shop structure. And I look forward to the completion of this investigation, and then we can evaluate what changes we can do on the local level to address the situation and prevent it from happening in the future. Thank you.